Good morning. It's day 2 on the shop stool project. Couple of things. First of all, this is the base kind of footstool part of it. How big is this stool? You never quite know how big your project is until you kind of build it. Like some of the other things, like the surfboard table was a little smaller than I thought, and things like that. And this thing is like going to be pretty big. So yesterday I started on the seat. The seat is made from 1.5 inch thick wood, which I don't have any of that. So I had the genius idea that 1.5 inch is just 2 3/4. So what I did is I glued up a couple of 3/4 inch panels. It's supposed to be 15 inches square, and I glued up 2 panels out of 3/4. And I've got those. Those are dry right now. I can take them out of the clamps and then kind of sandwich them together and glue the whole thing, and then that'll make, I don't know, half 1.5 inch piece. And I've never done that before, kind of glued 2 pieces flat like that, but let's take them out of the clamps and see how it looks. Okay, we'll just start by taking these really old ancient red clamps off, my original ones. And what's really funny is if you look at this, so this is like the stop. You press this in and you can do that. And that stop is exactly like when you're cranking these around. It's exactly where you catch your knuckles right on it when you're trying to tighten it or loosen it. So it's pretty funny that they put that right there. I don't know how many times I've racked my knuckles on that thing. Oh man, that is tight. When I crank it down with the giant vice grips, it really tightens that up. All right. Actually looks pretty flat. I got a little bit of steps in here. I think I might take it down with the belt sander a little bit and then try to figure out how it can fit. I think what I might do is like the goes this way and put this one this way. So they're kind of cross pieces. Okay, so let's take the other one out. Pretty, pretty good. And again, a couple little steps in there. But I think with the a little bit of belt sanding, and they might fit together real nice. So something kind of like this. And I don't know, maybe I'll that's what kind of what I was afraid of. Oh boy. Okay, that actually fits really nice. All right, so let me give this a belt sand, and maybe we can make these 2 pieces happily live together, happily ever after. The other thing that I've been thinking about is the legs. The legs, for me, it's a pretty difficult piece to make. I have to make 4 of them, and they're 1 inch thick. That's the problem. And I have a little bit of wood that's 1 inch or bigger that I could plane down, but I don't think I have near enough to make 4 legs. They have to be 9 inches by 26 inches. I need 4 of those. So I'm trying to think of how I should do that, and I think what I might do, since it's 1 inch thick, is I could kind of go and rip a whole bunch at 1 inch and then glue it together with the end grain showing, which that kind of matches the plan, how the original material is supposed to be. So I thought that might be a way to do it. If I just, what I'll probably do is cut them at 1.25 inches and then just stack them all up a whole bunch at 1.25 thick, stack them all up, then run it through my planer to 1.125, 1 inch. And then I'll have 1 inch thick planed pieces. And then the other thing that I thought of is, I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not, but I think I might go mahogany and oak, mahogany, oak, mahogany, oak, kind of alternating the pattern. This seat is out of mahogany. The foot piece is out of white oak, so that would kind of bring together the two species of wood that are making up this project. So I might maybe make one sample piece and see how it looks. And I'm not sure how gluing up different pieces of wood, different species of wood works. I've never done that before, but why not? Let's give it a try. So I gave these a run through with the belt sander and got them kind of as flat as I could. These are too wide on both sides to fit through my planer, so I really can't run them through the planer. But did the best that I could to kind of get them all flat and get out the steps. And then I think if I clamp this together and glue the crap out of it, it should make a pretty good panel the right thickness. So let's do that now. Let's get some glue, and I've never done this before, so I'm kind of learning here. But I think if I just got a bunch of clamps and clamp the crap out of it, I think it might work. Let's get some. So I think I'll start with these small clamps, like one in each corner, and then I'll go for the big mama jamas after that.
One hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Oh yeah. If there was only an easy way to remove all these clamps. How about... There we go. Easy, like magic. Okay, so now we have this big, thick piece of wood, and I guess we have to figure out which is going to be the top and which is the bottom. And then we have to start laying out our lines for the OD and the ID, and then our for our spline pocket. We got to figure out all that. So let's do that right now. So if I look at this, the only thing that looks like it's to scale is this figure A. It just has one dimension, 1/4 inch, which is pretty weak. But I think this is to scale. I tried to look at this. This does not look like it's to scale. Actually, this is 1/2 scale. This is, I don't know what, no scale. It doesn't seem to make any sense. So I think what I need to do is figure out like the OD, the ID, and then where this spline goes. And then I'm not going to cut out the whole the circle, because I want to put the legs on it like they did here and mark where the legs interact with the seat. So, and I want to drill those holes, this hole right here, I want to drill that hole when this is still a square piece of wood. I don't want to have to just do half, because what that is I'd have to drill a 1-inch hole and just half of it all the way down. But if I have the whole piece of wood, I can drill a complete hole. Then when I make my circle, then I just cut it out like that. Like that. Pretty much how they've done it. So let's do that. Let's mark this up and see how far we get.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Let's get you caught up. I made quite a bit of progress on the seat pan. So what I did last time, I think I was going to start laying out the circles. So I did that. I laid out the OD and the ID. And you can see up here the photo of some of the calculations that I had to make to try to fill in some of the gaps in the missing dimensions that they had. So in terms of the ID, OD, and then also how that cross section looks of the seat pan. So after I did the ID, OD, then I drew the circle for the spline for the cane seat part. And once I got that done, I had to figure out how am I going to router or create a 1/4 inch wide by 1/4 inch deep slot all the way around in a perfect circle. I didn't really know how to do that, but I came up with this fixture that I made, and it worked pretty good. I zipped it around here, and I think it worked very nicely. Let me show you. I just put some clamps here so the workpiece wouldn't move around, and then what I did is I took off the plastic plate that goes on the router, and I created this thing out of some fiberboard, press board, whatever it is. And the distance between here and here is my dimension for my spline groove, and it worked great. So I don't know whether I'm going to continue to use that for some of the other trimming operations, but that just about does it for this as far as I can go with the seat pan. Although I do need to prepare for marking the 1-inch diameter reliefs on the underside of the seat pan. So I could probably do that now, but then after that's complete, I really need to make the legs before I can do much more on this. So let's mark that other side, and then we'll get started on the legs. I just need to kind of remove these little hairs here. We don't want that. But once I'm done with that, this thing will be ready to go. I have the caning material that I received from Amazon, but I'm still waiting for the spline that goes in here. And that's going to be in here next week sometime, which is fine because that'll kind of go on last, and I don't need that right now. So just do that. Then in a minute I'm going to flip this over and we'll do some more markup. So now what I want to do is transfer some of these lines to the back. And why I'm doing that is because when I drill for the leg interfaces, they're going to be along these four. They're going to be along the diagonals and the major OD. So I need to create those on the back side, as well as maybe trying to pushes all the way through, and so I can create a hole on the other side for doing all of my layout. Okay, so first of all, let's take these 2 points and draw an X. I'm just sighting down to get this edge right here and that edge right there. I'm going to do the same thing here. And when I drill through, I wonder how close it's going to be to that point right there. I don't really know. Yeah, let's do that. So let me drill a really small hole, continue it through there, and see exactly where that hole ends up. I put a sacrificial piece of wood underneath this, just so I would drill into my workbench. Oh wow, Well, that's quite off. Quite a ways off. No, not really. Not that bad. All right, so I'm going to ignore that hole and go with this hole. I measured it from the front and the back, and that X is pretty darn close to being right in the center where it needs to be. And then when I drilled through here, I could feel it went right into that hole. So I think we're good. So if I was to do a 15-inch circle here, so that's 7.5 inches radius. And then where they intersect here, that's going to be my circle. And then I'll have to try to find a 1-inch diameter circle to draw, or maybe with the small compass. Okay, so I have this set on 7.5 times 2 will be 15, and that'll give me my OD. And if I just set this in here, okay, so what that gives me is the location of where my feet are going to go in. Feet, where my legs are going to interact with this part. I have my 1-inch hole saw with a nice pilot drill, which is pretty cool. That helps keep everything in good shape. And it's about 20 thousandths under, which is okay. If I go the biggest part, then what I'm going to do, this has to be a 1-inch diameter at 1 inch deep. So 1 by 1. So I'm just going to take this here. And how am I going to do this? Like this, maybe? Yeah, that's pretty close. We'll probably have to go a little bit deeper, but that's okay. Better than too deep. Okay, so that's set up to drill these, which I guess I could do that. Well, oh, okay, so I don't want to really drill these now, because what they said is once you get the leg assembly all together, I'll do the 4 legs with the stretcher at the bottom, the foot, then turn it upside down, set it on here, and we'll match draw this and do it where it's wow, Willie's really having a sneezing fit. But for right now, we could probably draw these just so you can see where they are. All right, so I found this socket, which is pretty close to 1 inch. And if I just kind of sight down here and match it up, we should be pretty close. So this is my theoretical point, my theoretical location. But what I want to do is, you never know quite how the legs are all going to shake out in terms of how accurate they're going to be. So I may not go with these exactly. I may, if I put the leg assembly down and it's a little bit off, I may line it up with that instead of this. But that's in theory where that should go. And I think we've just about gone as far as we can with this. We need to, I don't want to cut this out before I do that. And I need the leg assembly to do that. And then I could cut out the center part, but I really want to, I'm not sure if I am going to need this center for anything, if I need to draw any other circles or whatever. So I think what we'll do is put this part aside and we'll start working on the legs now. As I was discussing earlier in the video, I think I'm going to do an alternating pattern of oak and mahogany. And I think I'm going to have the end grain sticking out. I think that'll be a really good homage to the actual plan and how it works. So what I want to do is just rip a whole series of these boards, and I'm probably going to set my fence to 1.25 inches. So then once I glue them all up, I can plane one side down to 1 1/8 inches, and then the other side down to 1 inch. That's my ultimate dimension, is 1 inch. And I think I'm going to do like sandwich them and have the end grain sticking out. And my dimension I need to get to is 9 by 26. So that's what the plan calls for. 9 by 26. And I could probably go like 26 and a quarter. So that's what I'm going to do with the chop saw, is once I get these ripped down to the right width, then I can chop them to a length of like 26 and a quarter. It might be good to set a stop so I can just cut these each time rather than measuring each time. There's no sense in cutting anything that's under 26. So all of these I can probably just get rid of. This one's okay. And then this one is not. It's only 24. So I can get rid of all these. And then I don't really have to worry about the width. I could go like a bit wider, and it doesn't matter as long as it all stacks up to be a little over 9 inches. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is just take this scrap piece that I've been using, cut it, and see how close I am to 1/4 inch. And that is pretty accurate. So then we'll just stack up our pieces like that. So here what I'll do is just measure and mark 26 and a quarter. Cut everything at 26 and a quarter. And I don't have to be too accurate because this is extra long. And then I'll put the short piece over here. My scrap is there. And we'll just chomp this off right here. Okay, so it doesn't matter that I didn't really hit the line that much. This is just long. And then it's going to be stacked up like this till I get a little over 9, maybe 9 and a quarter. And then glue that up. And I'm going to alternate. And I just need to do that a whole bunch of times.